Costa. Other fancy nations have had more recent experience of success. Madueke. Bellingham. Trying to find an angle to shoot from. And it's only a deflection that took the effort wide. First threat from England, very nearly producing an early goal. He's found Elliot Anderson, who's looking for Harry Kane. Gordon, Nico O'Reilly, Rice for Gordon again. Command, it has been delivered. Noni Madueke for Gordon. And it's off Sequeira and behind. Anthony Gordon has already created one goal and this has gone deep in the corner. Kane is there. Okay. Jude Bellingham. Anderson. Noni Madueke. Sequeira reacts well. It was bouncing and moving in front of him. Anderson. In from Rice. In from Rice. Flicked on by Kane. Fingertips from Sequeira to keep it at one. Harry Kane. Made an uncharacteristic mistake. Gallo with a chance. Declan Rice for England. It was a shot, threaded it beautifully for Madueke, who is in! And has somehow failed to make it 2-0. It's a horrible miss at the end of a really... Bellingham is there again. Gordon. Burst of speed from him, and Rice has found a way through. Early goal threatened, early England goal delivered. Declan Rice giving Thomas Tuchel's team just the sort of start to the contest they'd have wanted. And it was all about this burst from Anthony Gordon, away from Johnson. And Declan Rice was the player he spotted in the ideal position to benefit from his industry. Didn't need to be the cleanest hit of Declan Rice's career. Little bit of a deflection, taking the ball beyond the reach of Patrick Sequeira. Having missed a sitter in the first half, he very nearly produced something spectacular in the second. Progress, Rice in pursuit, Carlos Moura just simply could. Taking on Queiroz, Sequeira, it's James, Jude Bellingham to get on the ball. Here he is again. Far from an unwelcome exercise. Nico O'Reilly, Anthony, Declan Rice, deep with it. Nico O'Reilly didn't make his Arsenal teammate Noni Madueke. Sent the cross beyond the reach of Anthony Gordon. Rice with the free kick. Kane was the target. Well, it deserved a goal, didn't it, for the skill and endeavour of Jude Bellingham. How about this? Dancing through the defence. There's a taking aim. Now, did that strike the elbow? Wide off a Costa Rica player. Poke of the elbow from Daryl Araya. Marcus Rashford has not had much of an opportunity to get involved. Looking to show a ruthless streak. Saka's delivery. Wrestling goes Anthony Gordon for England. Dispatched quite brilliantly. A wonderful penalty to extend England's advantage. And the first job for the substitute goalkeeper is to retrieve the ball having been beaten. Off the elbow of Daryl Araya. And the resulting spot kick could not have been placed any better. Brilliant from Anthony Gordon. His third England goal. And the scoreline now is a much fairer reflection of just how dominant England have been. Eza, oh that's brilliant, what a pass! Steered wide of the target, Morgan Rogers seems certain to become 3-0, and it's the second time in the game that an England player has passed up what looked. Still they probe England, still they... Rashford. Kirosh. Eze. Let's hear back from Watkins. Eza. Good work this. Rogers in behind and away by Mitchell. And go into the World Cup feeling as ready and prepared as possible. Eza with the free kick.
Have you ever seen an entire football world fall in love with one team almost overnight? Just a few weeks ago, Norway entered this World Cup with almost no one believing they could challenge the tournament's biggest giants. Most fans expected them to fight hard, maybe reach the knockout stage, and then quietly disappear. But now, they're standing just one win away from a World Cup semi-final. After eliminating Brazil in one of the biggest upsets of the tournament, Norway has become everyone's favorite underdog. Their reward? A quarter-final showdown against England, a team packed with world-class talent, desperate to end decades of World Cup heartbreak. So the question is, can Norway shock the football world one more time? Or will England finally prove why so many people consider them genuine World Cup contenders? Let's dive into one of the most fascinating quarterfinals of this tournament. If someone had predicted this matchup a few years ago, almost everyone would have picked England without hesitation. England possess one of the strongest squads in international football. Harry Kane remains one of the deadliest finishers in world football. Jude Bellingham has become one of the game's brightest superstars. Declan Rice controls the midfield with incredible composure. And across the pitch, England simply have quality almost everywhere. On paper, they should be favourites. But football isn't played on paper, it's played under pressure, it's played with emotion. And sometimes, belief becomes more dangerous than talent. That's exactly what Norway has discovered. Norway's journey to this stage has been nothing short of remarkable. Throughout the tournament, they haven't looked like a team afraid of big occasions. Instead, they've played with confidence, discipline and togetherness. The biggest statement came against Brazil. Very few people gave Norway a realistic chance. Brazil still carried the reputation of 5-time world champions. Their attacking quality terrified opponents. Their history alone was enough to make most teams nervous. But Norway showed absolutely no fear. They defended as one unit. Every player worked tirelessly. Every tackle mattered. Every counter-attack carried purpose. And when the opportunity finally came, Erling Haaland did what world-class strikers always do. He punished Brazil. That victory changed everything. Suddenly, Norway were no longer seen as lucky outsiders. They became legitimate contenders. Of course, Erling Haaland deserves enormous credit. Whenever defenders lose concentration for even a second, he punishes them. His strength is incredible. His movement inside the penalty area is world-class. And perhaps most importantly, he never seems to panic. Throughout this World Cup, Haaland has looked relaxed. He's smiling, he's enjoying himself, he's playing with confidence rather than pressure. That version of Haaland might actually be the most dangerous one football has ever seen. But here's what makes Norway different from previous years. They're no longer just Haaland's team. Martin Odegaard controls matches with his passing. Alexander Sørloth gives defenders another physical challenge. The midfield works tirelessly. The defense stays organized. Everyone understands their role. That's why Norway have become so difficult to beat. England, meanwhile, arrive after surviving one of the toughest matches of the tournament. Their clash against Mexico tested absolutely everything. Playing in difficult conditions, battling through relentless pressure, finding a way to survive. It wasn't beautiful, but great tournament teams don't always need beautiful victories. Sometimes they simply need resilience. England found that resilience. Players like Jude Bellingham continued fighting until the very end. Harry Kane showed his leadership. Declan Rice covered almost every blade of grass. Those kinds of victories often build championship mentality, but they also leave behind something else. Fatigue. And that could become one of the biggest factors in this quarterfinal. Miami's weather isn't just hot, It's exhausting. The humidity drains energy faster than players expect. Running becomes harder, recovering becomes slower, decision making becomes more difficult. The team that manages its energy best could gain a huge advantage during the final 30 minutes. Norway may actually enter this game slightly fresher after their previous victory. England, meanwhile, have spent far more physical and emotional energy getting here. Will that matter? We'll soon find out. Then there's the psychological battle. England are expected to win. That pressure follows every English team into every major tournament. Anything less than success becomes national disappointment. Norway don't carry that burden. They've already exceeded expectations. Every victory now feels like a bonus. That freedom allows players to express themselves without fear. Sometimes that's exactly what creates giant killings. And that's exactly why this quarterfinal feels impossible to predict. England may have the bigger stars, but Norway have something equally dangerous. Momentum, confidence, belief, and a nation beginning to dream of the impossible. But football has one cruel habit. Just when you think you figured everything out, it surprises you. Because the tactical battle between Gareth Southgate's England and Norway's fearless approach could completely change everything. And that's where the story becomes even more fascinating. So what will actually decide this quarterfinal? The answer may not be individual brilliance. It may come down to who wins the tactical battle. England know exactly where Norway's biggest threat lies. Everything starts with Erling Haaland. He's not the kind of striker who needs 10 chances to score. Give him one clear opportunity and there's a very good chance he'll punish you. That means England's defenders cannot afford a single lapse in concentration. Every cross, every through ball, and every counter-attack has to be dealt with perfectly. But focusing only on Haaland creates another problem. Martin Odegaard. The Arsenal captain has quietly become the heartbeat of this Norwegian side. While defenders are busy watching Haaland's movement, Odegaard is constantly searching for spaces between the lines. His vision allows him to create chances that most players wouldn't even attempt. If England press too high, Odegaard can exploit the gaps. If they sit too deep, Haaland becomes even more dangerous inside the penalty area. That's the tactical puzzle England must solve. For Norway, the mission is equally challenging. Stopping England isn't about marking one player, it's about containing an entire attack. Harry Kane remains one of the smartest strikers in football. He doesn't just wait inside the box, he drops into midfield, links play, and creates space for teammates making forward runs. Then there's Jude Bellingham. Perhaps no midfielder in world football influences big matches quite like he does. He can defend, attack, carry the ball through pressure, and score when his team needs him most. Norway's midfield cannot allow him to dictate the tempo. If Bellingham starts controlling the game, England become incredibly difficult to stop. Another factor that could prove decisive is experience. England's squad has played in major finals, European championships, and countless high-pressure knockout matches. Many of these players know exactly what it feels like when millions of supporters expect victory. Norway, on the other hand, are experiencing something completely different. For many of their players, this is the biggest match of their international careers. Sometimes that excitement becomes motivation, sometimes it becomes pressure. How Norway handles those emotions could determine their fate. Then there's the crowd. Although England traditionally attracts massive support wherever they play, Norway has become the tournament's surprise fan favorite. Neutral supporters love underdog stories. After knocking out Brazil, thousands of fans from other nations have started cheering for Norway as well. That emotional support could give the Scandinavians an extra boost whenever momentum begins to shift. As the match enters its final stages, expect the game to become even more unpredictable. The Miami Heat will begin taking its toll. Legs will feel heavier. Simple passes will become more difficult. Defenders will react a fraction slower. That's when champions step forward. One moment of brilliance, one defensive mistake, one incredible save. That's often all it takes to decide a World Cup quarterfinal. If England score first, they'll try to control possession and force Norway to chase the game. If Norway strike first, England's pressure will increase dramatically, opening even more space for dangerous counterattacks led by Haaland. Either scenario promises an unforgettable finish. Perhaps the biggest difference between these teams isn't technical ability, it's expectation. England are expected to win. Norway simply believes they can. History tells us that favourites usually find a way. Football tells us that miracles happen far more often than people expect. That's why the World Cup remains the greatest tournament on earth. Every 4 years, one team writes a story nobody saw coming. Could Norway be writing that story right now? Or will England finally take another step toward ending decades of waiting for World Cup glory? Very soon, we'll have the answer. But one thing is already certain. This isn't just another football match. It's a battle between belief and expectation, between fearless ambition and enormous pressure, between a nation chasing history and another trying to protect it. When the final whistle blows, one dream will continue. The other will come to an unforgettable end. And no matter who advances, this quarterfinal has every ingredient to become one of the defining matches of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. So who are you backing? England or Norway? Let us know your prediction in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe because the road to World Cup glory is only getting more dramatic from here.